Rugby Championship 2022, folks. The Springboks win the game, but not enough for the championship. 38-21. We'll go through some key events and stats. I hope you don't mind if I keep my voice down a touch. It is now 6:40 in the morning. Kids are still asleep, so I will try to keep them that way. Personally, I'm operating on not a lot of sleep, seeing as the All Blacks game. I went to bed after that one. Then my son was kind of crook during the night, so yeah, it's been messy. But if my eyes did not deceive me, it was a pretty bloody good crowd in Durban, Heritage Day in South Africa. So yeah, really vocal, and at the start it was good weather. The weather kind of turned throughout the game, but yeah, it was so many stereotypes within the first few minutes. Allende gives away the first penalty of the game. Frans Steyn, who's playing 10, and there's question marks about that, misses touch from his first kick at the sideline, and he does that about 3 times. Imhoff cops a ball to the face, which is not exactly a stereotype, but that was kind of nasty. Damian Allende's first penalty conceded is pretty much literally for not passing the ball, or at least not playing the ball after he'd been tackled. So yeah, kind of a lot of stereotypes on display. Marx winning a turnover. It was all on kind of early in the game. Now, remembering the mission for this game, South Africa had to win by pretty much like 40 points, and they were clearly, trying to chase that margin early. A lot of opting for touch, like I mentioned, a few of them missing touch, unfortunately. Roux eventually had to take over the kicks for touch for a while anyway. Denied the first try when Eben was ruled at the maul to have given the ball back to Kolisi, and then them kind of bringing the ball forward. One of those ones where I think it was the touch judge that said he thought it wasn't a try, so the TMO didn't overrule him. But I mean, then Argentina offside from the resulting kick anyway. Really were the masters of their own demise early. I mean, the Argentinian penalty count was horrendous in the first half, and the penalty count in this game is just genuinely one of the highest you will ever see. So yeah, pretty busy old Damian Murphy with the whistle. That being said, Argentina managed to hold the line for quite some time. Win a turnover, get out of jail. Steyn would kick it dead once to kind of keep them safe, but eventually, like 13 minutes, Argentina's on a warning from the penalty count. And it does come not long later. Kriel gets the first one. I'm pretty sure one of the commentators said he's one of the more disciplined Argentinians. If he said indisciplined Argentinians, I'll get it. But Kriel, I mean, dude's got a reputation for conceding quite a few penalties. So, yeah, it was kind of no surprise that he's one of the guys who gets a yellow. And then there's another yellow card warning for them not long later. They don't get the second yellow because Wiese goes over for a try on 19 minutes. Huge power from the Springbok scrum, and the scrum in the first half especially is massively dominant. So 7-0 to the Boks. Another scrum penalty, another missed touch. As I said, Roux takes over. Kriel comes back on. Argentina's back to 15 guys immediately. Juan Martín Gonzalez, he gets yellow carded, so back to 14. Roux gets held up, but back for the advantage, and then the next try comes through Kolisi. Again, it's a maul. 14-0. And Matera goes off. He's injured. They make a change in the front row because, like I said, they've been getting demolished, the Argentinians at the front row. I mean, Argentina did briefly have a few phases in the South African 22, but they conceded a penalty anyway. Interestingly, on 36, South Africa go for a penalty. A long distance one, like 55 metres. Steyn whacks the hell of it. And 17-0. 17-0. I was thinking, man, this is quite doable for the mission of 40 points. You're 36 points up. It's almost half the game. You're almost halfway there in terms of the points you need, and you're just utterly dominant in the game. But as I said, the penalty was kind of a weird call because why not go for field position and keep pushing the advantage? But anyway, Argentina before halftime did actually manage to kind of take some field position, get up the Springbok end, work through some quick ball, and when there was no pillar at the side of the ruck, Bertrand didn't need an invitation, man, just dotted it down to make it 17-7 before half-time. So that penalty kind of gets pushed back by 4 points, right? You get the 3 back for Argentina and then 4 more. So, yeah, 17-7 at half-time. For Argentina is probably a pretty good result because, honestly, they've had 34% possession in that first half. It's been all the Springboks. They've conceded 14 penalties to 5. Like, 14 penalties in half a game is ridiculous. Some teams don't concede 14 penalties in a whole game. There's only been one clean break, and that was the Springboks. I think it was Allende. And run meters is 145 to 98. So, yeah, it hasn't been that much ball in play because the whistle's been that active. But, yeah, realistically, the Pumas were not at the races for large periods. But maybe a bit similar to that game last week. They did manage to at least bring it a bit more in the second half. Especially when they scored the second try as well. Juan Martín Gonzalez, the guy who was yellow carded earlier, he stepped Willie Roux. Yeah, that was defensively not that great from the Springboks and great attack from the Pumas, man. Gonzalez has been one of the players of the tournament for mine. I've loved watching every minute of him, despite his yellow card today. Great footwork and good build-up from the Argentinians. So 17-14, suddenly the mission for the Rugby Championship's looking pretty much gone. And it's just about getting the win for the Springboks. It did look a little bit dodgy at that point for the Springboks, but I mean, not for long. Because there's a penalty try. There's 2 of them. First one's on 54 minutes. This one's De La Fuente who gets carded. And it's 24-14. The rain starts coming down. So at that point, as an All Blacks fan, I'm like, right, it's 24-14. The All Blacks have probably got the Rugby Championship, but who's going to win the game? And I'm also thinking probably South Africa. It's going to be that predictable result. You know what I mean? I can't see the Pumas mounting a comeback, and I can't see the Boks winning by 40 at that point. And there's a weird yellow card for Eben for pushing. I mean, pushing goes on all the time on the ground when the ball's up in the air, guys jostling for position. And it's like dominoes. Eben pushes one guy who hits another guy who hits another guy, and they deem that being the dangerous reason that one of the Pumas guys was, clattered out of the air. It was a weird one. I feel like a yellow was kind of harsh for that one, but that makes it 14-14 because De La Fuente's in the bin. And from here, Argentina have probably got their best spell of the game. They actually, get some dominance. South Africa concede like 6-7 penalties in a row, and 5 cops a yellow card for collapsing a maul. So 13 men South Africa. Argentina get De La Fuente back, so it's 15-14. Can Argentina score with a 2-man advantage? Yes, they can. It's Moroni. They get the ball wide. Like, you have to score there, and they do. So good play from the Pumas guys. 21 points on the board. Still, game on, I guess. But South Africa, just as you think they're under a little bit of threat, nah, they pulled the game back away from the Pumas guys. It's another penalty try. It's another collapsed maul. This one time it's Sclavi. He comes in and just pulls the thing down. So 31-21. And then some pretty sweet hands from the Boks guys for the final try. So that one's Kriel to Mapimpi to Moodie to Argentina. Like, pretty nice. Pretty nice. So 38-21. As I said, kind of finishes with that unsatisfying result in that the Boks win. It's a solid enough win. Out of context, if this was just a game, a one-off test, you'd be maybe decently satisfied with that. But in the context of the Rugby Championship, it's not enough to get the bonus point. It's not enough to get the points margin. But it's the win that was kind of expected. So, yeah, a bit of a weird one. And just weird, like, penalties conceded, 17-22. Pumas concede more, but like 39 penalties in a game is a horrendous number. Yellow cards 2-4. Like 6 yellow cards in one game is crazy. There's 42 lineouts in this game. And was it 12 scrums? Like, ball and play time was pretty low. And it rained. But yeah, it was just very bizarre. Like, Eben's yellow card, like I mentioned, was weird. Sometimes you watch weird games. Maybe it's just because I'm lacking sleep. But run meters 283 to 313. Argentina edge it, but there's not much in it. Defenders beaten 17 apiece. 8 turnovers, 1-4 is dominant by the Boks. Both sides line out operated pretty well, but missed a couple. South Africa dominate the position in the first half. Argentina get more of it in the second. So, yeah, another game with 2 halves between these sides, eh? Wiese, I think he got man of the match, and he played pretty much half of it, but 58 metres and 5 defenders beaten. The dude is a unit. Allende, 6 defenders beaten, also a big old unit. South Africa's 2 top tacklers continue to tackle in this game. That's Kolisi and Jager. Kriel makes 14 from 16 for the Pumas. Malherbe, 52 metres and 3 defenders beaten. But, yeah, like I mentioned, it's a bizarre one. I've had very little sleep, so I've probably missed a whole bunch. But, yeah, 38-21. Tons of penalties, tons of cards, couple of penalty tries, no bonus point. Rugby Championship's done. Springboks finished second. Pumas finished with the wooden spoon, unfortunately for them, but they got a couple of wins. They couldn't get one over the Boks. Away win in New Zealand for them is still going to feel like some kind of history-making campaign. And they had their chances in this game, but as I said, every time they got close, the Boks just took it away from them. And genuinely for the Boks at 17-0, I thought these guys are going to push on and threaten for it. Maybe not get there, but it's going to be close. They ended up not getting the bonus points, so at the end it wasn't really close, but they still finished the game off with a couple of tries. So, yeah. You guys let us know your thoughts. I might go have a wee lie down on the couch before the kids wake up. See how my son's stomach is feeling, because that was messy. Messy in the middle of the night. But, yeah. You guys take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.